Welcome to the Beauty Tutorials Top Trends for D2C Beauty Brands in 2022. I'm Rachel Tyers. I am VP of Strategic Partnerships at Okendo, and we're really excited to have brought together 7 industry experts from the D2C space to bring forward the top trends that they're seeing amongst the clients or brands that they work with, and hopefully you can take some learnings from that and apply some of the tips and tricks from today's session for your brand. So a little bit of housekeeping here. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to put them into the chat. Make sure that you're messaging everyone, not just the host and panelists. That way, all of the panelists today have representatives in the chat, and the reps will be happy to answer any questions that you have. And we'll make sure that any questions that are missed are sent on to the panelists and they can respond to you later if necessary. We'll also be sending through a recording and copy of the presentation within 24 hours of the webinar. So if you need to go back and watch anything again, you will have that opportunity too. So without further ado, let's jump into things. As I mentioned, I'm Rachel, VP of Strategic Partnerships at Okendo, and I've been working in digital marketing and e-commerce for over 10 years now. A little bit about Okendo: we are a ratings and reviews platform built specifically for Shopify. We help brands to maximize their conversion rate on site, as well as increasing AOV, average order value, and customer lifetime value. So we do work with over 5,000 of Shopify's fastest growing D2C brands. And actually our top vertical just so happens to be beauty and skincare. So we have a lot of experience in this space. Now, putting things into numbers, 99.9% of customers read product reviews before making a purchase. Customers are also willing to spend 31% more with a brand that has excellent reviews. So super important to have those reviews and have them be good. An interesting stat, which is a little bit newer, that 57% of shoppers read reviews while shopping in brick and mortar stores to assess potential purchases. And now with the changes in privacy and targeting, we're seeing that reviews have become more important now than ever before. So tip number 1, increase conversions and zero-party data collection with robust reviews. We love to highlight key selling points with what we call product attributes. We know that a 5-star review with some text tells you that a customer loves a product, but it doesn't necessarily tell you anything else about that product. So we really like to use product attributes to highlight the key selling points of your brand or of the product. So when you and I hit this PDP, we see straight away that the scent, the effectiveness, and the feel-good factor is excellent. You can also increase conversions with customer attributes. So you'll see here we're using age range, skin tone, and eye color. So as a shopper, I'm able to align my purchase decision with people that have similar characteristics to me. If I see that this person that has a skin tone similar to mine and they liked the product, then I'm more likely to convert as well. Now, going a step deeper into why you would use product and customer attributes is that it allows you to collect zero-party data from your shoppers. So zero-party data is really a fancy word for the term of when customers or shoppers give you information willingly. So that's a little bit different to the second and third-party data. That's a little bit more of a gray area. These are your customers willingly giving you information about themselves, and you can in turn that leverage it for personalization of your campaigns to those customers. So here you'll see that Shani Darden is collecting information around age range, skin type, skin concerns, results achieved, favorite features, and they're actually using product attributes in an interesting way of how quickly did you achieve viable results. That's really quite cool, I think. And I love that they're being innovative in the way that they're using that product attribute. So we've got gold here. They're collecting information around skin type, age range, beauty benefits, product standouts, quality, results, feel good factor. Of course, you can be collecting a lot of these things on the back end. And if you want to demonstrate or show less attributes on the front end, you can hide some of those so that you're still collecting all of that important data that you can leverage across your campaigns, but you still have a nice clean reviews widget. We've got age range, eye size, eye color, quality, staying power, ease of use, and speed of application for the quick flick. And this just goes to show you can really be capturing data about anything. There are no limitations here. None of this is using code in Okendo, at least. It's all just super simple to set up in the back end of your app. We've got a hair product here. Got nail polish from Orly, and then filters, of course, is a really good idea to use because then you're allowing your customers to really efficiently self-select the characteristics and reviews that they would like to see that align with their own characteristics. Now, great tip here, I get asked this a lot, should brands be publishing negative reviews? And the answer is yes. Purchase likelihood actually peaks when the average star rating between a product is between 4.2 and 4.5 stars. So negative reviews actually have a positive impact because they help to establish trust and authenticity. And I think as shoppers, we're quite wary of anyone that has completely all 5-star reviews because not everyone likes every product. So we love to see a mix of reviews published to create that authentic vibe. So a good example here from the Inky list, a skincare brand that we work with. They've published this negative review. This customer had a bad result after 2 weeks, but you can see that the Inky list has responded to that review. They've provided great customer support. And so that actually helps new shoppers to feel more comfortable making a purchase from you for the first time because they know even if the product doesn't work for them, you're going to be looking after them. So I do have a case study from the Quick Flick here. Once they implemented those robust reviews with product and customer attributes, they actually saw a 9.4% increase in average order value, and there was a 2.8x increase in conversion rate. Right. So number 2, capture and leverage high impact user generated content. I think in beauty specifically, UGC is just so powerful. Overall, we know that 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual, and we process images 60,000 times faster than text. So I definitely recommend capturing that customer user-generated content. I do have an example here again from the Quick Flick, and they have their customers posting pictures of what they look like using the product. And again, this is really about creating that authentic vibe because we know that the brand imagery is going to be very polished, professional, in amazing lighting, but shoppers want to know what the product is going to look like once they receive it at home. 73% of consumers also say they would be motivated to write a review if they were offered an incentive. So a great little tip here is offer coupons or points to people in exchange for leaving their customer feedback. You can also tier out rewards. So if you want to incentivize UGC, you want to collect more UGC, perhaps you offer 10% off your next purchase for a text review, and maybe that's upgraded to 20% off your next purchase for someone that submits a photo or video UGC piece. Number 3, optimize your website and digital marketing with social proof. So I think we all know that reviews are usually found on that product detail page, but there are a lot of other places you can use your star ratings. So here it's feeding through to the collections page. We've got a homepage carousel here with reviews, another homepage carousel with a reviews badge. Here you've got it on an upsell or a product recommendations app, cross-sell upsell app. This one is Nosto. And then here we're feeding through the Okendo star ratings onto this 460 Instagram widget feed on the website. And a little tip here, utilize customer reviews and UGC in ads. So in my long history of working in digital marketing, specifically in Facebook and Instagram advertising, we used to always see huge benefits from these UGC mashup ads. short, sharp clips with real people talking about how they love the product or using the product, demoing it. You can even overlay reviews in video and image creative, or put reviews in your copy, like in this example here. Another huge tip, make sure your Google Shopping ads and your reviews are connected. You can see that the Okendo star ratings are feeding through onto Moon Juice here, and we see that increase your click-through rate and your return on ad spend dramatically. So easy to do. And we've got Google rich snippets here, feeding through structured data from those Okendo star ratings onto the organic product listing. This actually happens automatically with Okendo, but make sure you have it set up with your review platform too. And then finally, integrate reviews with email, SMS, loyalty, and any of your tech stack that makes sense. So here I have a great example of integrating loyalty with reviews. And this company, Glow Recipe, is actually offering loyalty points or gift cards in exchange for a review. We're able to tier out incentives, again, to encourage that customer to leave UGC. So it's a higher number of points when they add a photo or video. And then we're also able to ask customers who leave a 5-star review to refer a friend. So they're already kind of your brand advocates or brand ambassadors. They've had a positive experience and they're likely to be willing to refer their friends over. And it's just a nice low customer acquisition cost to get that new business. Utilize the reviews and email integration. Okendo specifically allows you to send your review requests via Klaviyo or OmniSend. This means you can create really brand consistent emails that fit that user journey that you want to uphold rather than sending something kind of templatized. You can sync your customer attributes into customer data profiles on your ESP, and you can add social proof dynamically to your abandoned cart flows, product recommendation emails. Again, just encouraging that click to conversion. And then a big trend for 2022 is to add SMS to your review request sequences. So you can send review requests via SMS. Attentive, for example, who you'll hear later about, is one of our integration partners. And we see that combining email and SMS allows you to collect a higher number of reviews. I do have an example here of Scotch Porter, who added SMS to their review request strategy. They saw a 40% increase in review request click rate and a 12% increase in review generation. And then finally, but maybe most importantly, personalize your campaigns with zero-party data. So all of that information that you're collecting from your customers can be synced into your ESP or your SMS platform if you're using Attentive. You can then create audience segments and send personalized targeted campaigns based on that info that you're collecting. And now I do have a special offer for anyone attending today. You get your first 60 days of Okendo free when signing up before February 28th. So feel free to email me at rachel.tyers@okendo.io to claim, or you can find me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for your time. And with that, I'll hand over to Greg Bauman, the Director of Ecosystem Partnerships at Attentive. Greg, please take it away.
Oh, let me take myself off mute here. We're having a good time. Nice to meet everyone today. So as Rachel mentioned, my name is Greg Bauman. I'm Director of Ecosystem Partnerships here at Attentive. And excited to chat a little bit more about how beauty brands can leverage SMS as a channel to improve their customer experience. So there we go. So I've been in e-commerce for about 6 years, managing partnerships with different agencies and SaaS companies. And before that, I actually worked in the sports industry. And my wife is actually the lead singer in a rock band called Delta Ray. So it's my quick little call out. Check them out on Spotify, Apple Music. But the reason I bring that up is obviously health, beauty, style is really important to her stage presence and the brand as an artist. And so it's just given me a really interesting look in terms of like how she interacts with beauty brands and how beauty brands interact with her, and how SMS could really be a channel to really empower that relationship that she has with brands and that brands can have with her as a consumer. So there are 3 key takeaways that I want to get across today. The first one is more reviews. This is an Okendo webinar, right? We've got to talk about reviews. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how more reviews can drive more loyalty and how you can use SMS as a channel to drive more reviews. Also, great shopping experience also means more reviews. And then lastly, your consumers expect and want to receive text from you. So those are really the three takeaways that I want to talk about today. But before we get into that, I do just want to set the stage why we're talking about SMS in the first place. I'm not going to sit here and say that 2022 is the year of mobile. I think we've been told that for the last 5 years. But what I will say is we are definitely in a mobile first era. And I think the pandemic has really amplified that just in terms of how much time we spend on our phones, whether that's good or bad. The reality is we are spending more time on our mobile device, and that is really dipping into the e-commerce world as well, where almost 3/4 of all e-commerce sales are coming from mobile accounts. But none of that really matters if people still don't want to receive messages from brands that they're interested in. But what we found is that a lot of consumers are now starting to become more interested in receiving text messages from brands, whether they're already doing that or they're open to doing that with brands that they're really interested in. So again, even if you personally maybe are still on the fence about opting into different SMS programs, more likely than not, your customers are interested in wanting to receiving these text messages. And then lastly, when we talk about personalization and identity, your mobile phone really is the ideal device when it comes to personalization. So first off, almost everyone has just one phone number. So it's not like with email where you might have 6 or 7 email addresses that you're using to opt in for programs. More often than not, everyone has just that one phone number that they use. That phone number also stays very consistent. So I know that I've had my phone number for over 15 years. I'm sure a lot of you have also had your phone number for a while. I've lived in 3 different states and kept the same phone number. So we know that that's going to stay consistent. So just from being able to communicate with them over time, there's not going to be a lot of change there. It's also the one device that we really don't share with anyone else. We share laptops, we share tablets. We're not really sharing our mobile device. So you know that the messages that you do send are going to go to the right consumer. And then last but not least, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but we are constantly on our phones. And so not only are we constantly on our phones, but from a messages perspective, 90% of the messages are seen within the first 5 minutes of receiving that text. So just from an immediacy perspective, there really isn't a better channel than SMS, just in terms of being able to drive different messages and campaigns that you might be trying to get out in a quick manner. So first, let's go into more reviews. So definitely want to give a shout out to Okendo and talk about the power of SMS for generating new reviews. One question that we do hear a lot at Attentive is, what's the difference between a happy customer and a loyal customer? And the way we look at it is a happy customer trusts and enjoys your products and relates to your brand story. But a loyal customer is going to keep coming back for more, and they're also going to tell their friends and family and coworkers and other people to buy from your brand as well. So really driving more advocacy. And that's where that increased loyalty really comes from. And when we talk about SMS as a channel, I know a lot of people have heard the stats about how it's 98, 99% open rates. But also just from a loyal customer perspective, the SMS channel, if someone is going to opt into an SMS program, as I mentioned, we only have one phone number. So if someone's willing to give you that phone number, they are more likely to be already a loyal customer of yours, or they're primed to be a loyal customer of yours in the future if they're willing to give you that type of real estate to learn more about your brand. And so when you're looking to get more reviews, using SMS as a channel is incredibly important. We want to make sure that you're using rich content to try and capture those reviews. I was looking in the chat earlier, being able to offer different types of incentives, I think is really important. So if you have a loyalty program, being able to reward them 100 points for submitting a review, or maybe you want to give them a discount off of their next order, but also testing out with, when you want to send those reviews. So depending on your brand, maybe sending a text 7 days after the purchase is better than 14 days, but it might be different for another brand. So really A/B testing when the right time is to send those text messages. Because again, that immediacy factor is going to be really key to drive reviews really fast. And so knowing when to send those text messages is going to be incredibly important. Next one, shoppers who have a great customer experience are more likely to buy. I think we could all agree with that. It's pretty straightforward, and there's a lot of different ways that we can offer that type of positive experience. It starts at the acquisition phase. So first impressions are going to be incredibly critical when you're trying to get someone to opt into the program, making sure that they're excited about the reasons for why they want to actually opt into your program. Then there's a lot of different events-based messages that you might be able to send, like a cart abandonment message or a browse abandonment message, where there's that buyer intent and you want to make sure to remind them about the products that they're interested in. Going all the way to purchase and post-purchase. Almost everyone, 97% of people actually want to receive text messages about where their order is in the shipping process. So being able to offer that experience so that they know when their order is going to arrive, these are all things that are going to add a little bit of a positive customer experience. And then last but certainly not least, customer support. So I know our good friends at Gorgias are on here. We have a great integration with them. Being able to have that one-to-one conversation with your customers when there are questions that they have about your orders, or if there are issues with an order that they had, being able to do that via text where there's, again, that immediate response versus checking your email or going onto the site, it's just going to really improve that overall customer experience. And this is really where I want to go in terms of amplifying that customer experience, is that two-way journey that you do have with SMS. And that is a really unique aspect of the channel. Consumers, when they engage in a two-way conversation, are actually spending 31% more and are more likely to buy. And when we talk about those triggered messages like cart and browse abandonment, when you do two-way triggered messages, you're actually driving 3 times more revenue than those one-way triggered messages. And those are already your highest ROI campaigns to begin with. So just talking a little bit more about why it's so important to really build that relationship with your customers via SMS. And so conversational SMS is going to be a huge focus for Attentive here moving forward into 2022. This is really where you're going to be able to collect more data to drive deeper engagement, send more personalized recommendations to inspire action, and also stay in touch with customers so that they don't churn. So when we talk about customer experience, customers are constantly demanding more and more. And so you want to be at the forefront of that and be more proactive than reactive, especially when leveraging this type of channel. And so when we look at the buyer's journey as a whole, we were told about acquisition to conversion to retention. And then with conversational, the way I look at it is, how do we speed up that process even more to move them from those different pillars? So when we're acquiring a phone number and we send that welcome text, are we trying to learn a little bit more about them? Maybe we want to ask them like, hey, tell us what you're interested in. Reply 1 for lip gloss, 2 for mascara, 3 for eyeliner. And then we can take them down different journeys based off the products that they're already interested in. Or if people have questions about a product that they're interested in buying, are we responding to them with their answer, with the answers that they're looking for, and maybe even recommending other products that they weren't even aware of based off of their initial ask? These types of two-way conversations can help them move down the funnel to become a more loyal customer faster. And then this is just a quick case study that I like to share. This is a mutual customer of ours with Okendo, Groove Life. They actually did a really cool two-way messages campaign over St. Patrick's Day. They created a scavenger hunt for anyone that wanted to opt into their SMS program. This was a great way for them to grow their subscriber list. They increased it 6,000 subscribers in just a 2-day period. And what they did is they just offered a bunch of clues. And then every time someone texted back the right answer, they would get the next clue until they got to the final question. Once they got that right, they were given a special code with a discount. And that coupon drove a 30% conversion rate. So they saw 15x ROI just in a 2-day period, just from doing something fun and different to really engage their customer base and improve that overall customer experience. And then last but not least, we do feel that in 3 years, every B2C brand is going to be expected to communicate with their customers via SMS. We really do believe that the phone number is going to be that key identifier when we think about CRM in the future. But at the same time, because we only have one phone number and we do look at all of our texts, we're not going to be able to just opt into a bunch of programs like we might do with email. So at the end of the day, it really is a race to own the inbox. And so if you're a brand that's not leveraging SMS, there's a good chance that your competitors might already be doing that. So it's really important to be able to grab that real estate before it's too late, and that you can engage your best customers and keep them loyal customers down the line. So that's all I have for today. I hope that all made sense. I know we only had 10 minutes. I wanted to go through it really quickly, but thanks again for having me, and always happy to chat later if there are any questions. So Rachel, I'll give it back to you.
Thank you so much, Greg. Super informative. Next up, we have Steph Carcamo, Customer Success Strategist from Justuno.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Greg, that was so great. I got a lot of strategy from that and a new band to listen to. So way more than what I thought. Let me get this shared up over here. All right, cool. Yeah, so far we've had some really great speakers, which touches on how Justuno comes into play there. So with Okendo and Attentive and the reviews and SMS aspect, we kind of want to think about and go back a little bit to where can we get this information and how? It all happens on site, and that's where Justuno comes into play. We're a conversion rate optimization focused platform. And with that, it's more than just pop-ups and showing messages. We want to make sure we're showing the right messages at the right times. And that's really what we strategize behind. We have 500 plus beauty and cosmetic brands using us, including Native, Dr. Squatch, Florence by Mills. So we'll check out a couple examples here in this presentation. Oh, let me go back here. All right, just some industry averages to take a look at. And this is to see how using on-site messaging and promotions can improve your overall website's performance. So on average, beauty brands on Justuno increase time on site by around 5 minutes, which is crucial to getting them to that next step to convert or just to learn more about your brand. If they do end up leaving your site, that's fine. If they're going to continue browsing, we want to make sure they remember you. So those additional 5 minutes may not seem like a whole lot, but it is impactful long-term for those returning visitors and even those new visitors that we look at. So taking a look at that, we've increased time. And then meanwhile, the average opt-in for engagement with promotions is over 9%, and overall conversion rate is hovering at about 4%. Whenever we see engagement, though, that skyrockets to nearly 19% when a visitor is engaged by a promotion. So that impact of what your brand is and showcasing that at just the right time leads to that skyrocket of 19%. It's not to say that we should be covering the website with pop-ups, but these are just results to look at and use them in a strategic way to optimize and really make the most out of your offsite efforts. Perfect. So strategies for social media optimization. Most of you are doing social media marketing and influencer marketing, which means that you need to be creating strategic strategies for on-site optimization of those campaigns. And that's to make sure that we're making the most out of the traffic that you're driving. So first up is UTM targeting. You'll want to be creating on-site pop-ups for every campaign so you can mirror copy, creative, and coupons based on what they're clicking through to get them to site. This can seem like a little bit more work, but ideally you already have these assets and this idea set up because of the whole traffic that you're trying to drive. So implementing that in a pop-up is really great to continue the flow. You can also use links in your stories from Instagram that drive traffic to specific landing pages. With Justuno, if you don't have the bandwidth to create a whole landing page, you can swap that for a full page pop-up takeover. And this can look really seamless with your site. It can feel like the first page that they're coming to visit. So not necessarily a pop-up that would yield a really fast click to close out of it. And with this full page, we can feature the influencer's name, their content, the special offer that relates to them in order to personalize that experience and deepen the connection with the brand by connecting them with the influencer. Another best practice would be to add a tab to any mobile opt-in offer. So rather than interrupting their experience as they come from Instagram, and if they're really excited for an offer they just saw, we give them that option to open a small tab on the side of your site, which is great on mobile so that they can open at their convenience. Maybe they get to know your brand a little bit more by your reviews that they see on product pages. and by just seeing what you have as options for email or SMS. So that's great to look at. And many beauty brands are actually releasing mini capsules that are based on their top influencers. This is a great strategy for a limited edition product, aligning your audience with the brand, and then again with the influencer once they arrive on site. We don't want them to forget why they came to site in the end. And you can take this approach with product releases or simply to achieve a similar effect with different product recommendations. It may seem like a big kind of campaign that we have if we want to do like mini capsules, but when you're thinking about it in a pop-up, it does feel a little more simpler when you think about the assets that you have available. So product recommendations, this actually brings us to our second trend of the year. So personalized recommendations, we've touched on that a bit now with SMS, of course, and with the reviews. I feel like Okendo just showed me so many more options and what we can gather in our lead captures for that. So that's great to see. And that goes into recommendations for products too. Beauty products are hugely dependent on that word of mouth, recommendations by friends. I don't know how many times I've just shown someone something and now they're using it forever. And like I myself pride myself on doing that research and seeing the reviews. So that makes me more reliable to my friends. So it's just an extension, right? I'm calling to your reviews on site to make me look good too. So I want to check out these 4 different segments here and some suggested recommendations that you can use. The base of this breakdown is that we want to create pop-ups that sync up with the different points in their journey. So these pop-ups that target each segment, they may have the same offer, but use a personalized or relevant message based on the buying segment to deliver this pop-up. So we touch on, I really like this, return visitors, and then showcasing the staff favorites. That's something that's giving us that social proof. It's also relying more on someone that is in the brand, so a little more reliable on that. What the experts are loving strategy is great to convert those returning visitors who have been window shopping as well. And it just might be the perfect amount of social proof. And with Justuno, you can A/B test these different areas and where you're showing the products and what products you're showing with what heading. Check our time. All right. So if you're trying to drive traffic to certain products like your seasonal scents, you can create recommendations based on backend tags that you have set up that can automatically update which scent is recommended at different points in the year. So with a quick setup in the beginning, we can have evergreen promotions ready to go for the year based on what your marketing team is doing. And that's really where Justuno, if you do end up working with a strategist, they're right there to hold your hand and make sure that we're planning out each area in the best way. For influencer traffic, we can trigger carousels of their must-have products, of their favorites, and what they're promoting on Instagram. So making it more branded once you arrive on site, but still letting them know like, hey, this is what they use and this is what they love. That's great to take them to a product page that may contain this, but with a pop-up, we are able to show them this whole bundled product that they can immediately add to cart from a click, and then they can still explore the site without having to jump around from product page to product page. So these recommendations can be placed on any page of your site, really, and we want to make it look seamless if it is going to sit as an in-page promotion. And I know Attentive called out different areas that we can ask for SMS, and Okendo called out where we can place reviews. And we want to think about pop-ups in a similar way on cart pages, product pages, and also based on triggers, how far someone has scrolled on the page and how many pages they've traveled. Cool. So hop into our first example here, Florence by Mills. They came to Justuno before their website was even launched, which may sound kind of weird. Like, why would you have a pop-up of any kind? But what we ended up doing was a full page takeover that was designed to collect customer information and build anticipation. I touched on this before, a different way that you could use a full page takeover. And this one is just a super simple way, and it's a lead capture. Sometimes I would say don't lean on a full page lead capture in this way with most merchants. It's not my go-to because it can feel a little intrusive, but it does fit great here. And we've actually done a dealer's choice type of setup. So the visitor gets to choose if they want to opt in via email or SMS, kind of leading into Attentive mentioning like that's a channel that a lot of people want to hear from. So this type of launch or pop-up can give you an idea of where you should prioritize content or what kind of content fits in which channel best. So this is a great example of building hype using the upcoming launch to collect this opt-in from high intent shoppers that I would say are almost guaranteed to purchase at this point if they're trying to opt in for this. So obviously most of you have already launched a brand, but this same strategy can be applied to new collections or seasonal products. Anything to really build that up. There's a lot of options for beauty brands where product drops and FOMO, fear of missing out, are huge drivers of consumer behavior. Another one we'll spot here is, let's see, Ella Milla. So they're actually a long-term customer and they switched to Justuno and combined a few different advanced strategies for some huge wins long-term. So first up, they implemented UTM Targeting to properly mirror their offsite messaging. And we talked about that earlier. It drives big wins from their Facebook ads and their emails. So again, all that effort is going into your content. You can mirror that easily with UTMs, and really what it takes is the setup in the beginning. So Ella Milla isn't just an e-commerce brand. Their products are also in Targets across the country. So they've made a two-pronged approach to target exiting traffic. So that's anyone that's leaving your site and hasn't really shown any interest by adding something to cart. And we use geo-targeting to push visitors intending to exit to the nearest target. So you can do that by either directing them to your maps page or asking them like where they're wanting to search, different ways to do that depending on how you'd like to engage. Their strategy was that if shipping time is a barrier, then many potential customers would still go get their products same day. And I'm totally one of those. I can be impatient. So I'm like, yes, where can I find that today? So as more of you beauty brands find your way onto the shelves, keep this in mind and in what we may want to do to drive traffic into stores in high populated areas or areas based on seasonality, perhaps. The second prong to their abandoned carts is an unlocked discount aimed to encourage the same session conversions. So this one is massively effective with mobile actually, and it beats the desktop conversion. So we love to see that. I think Greg mentioned, I'm not going to say it's like mobile. This is the year it's been happening. So this is kind of just more proof that keep in mind like where people are converting and where they're browsing on your site. So to wrap it up, you guys have a lot of levers to pull for 2022. I think when you think back to where you're putting in that effort with UTMs and your offsite, that can make pop-ups seem a little easier and not as in your face. So I'd love if you wanted to try out Justuno, and you can get a 14-day trial plus 15% off any plan. And please reach out or find me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. I think you got some great presentations following up.
Thank you so much, Steph. Next up, we have Shweta Nelawati, Associate Director of Programmatic at Tinuiti.
Thank you. I'm just can everyone see my screen? Beautiful. Cool. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Tuesday. A little bit about myself and where I work. My name is Shweta, and I've been working with beauty brands for about 5 years now, amongst the other verticals as well. And I'm representing Tinuiti, which is the largest performance marketing firm across streaming TV, and also triopoly of Google, Facebook, and Amazon. And in a very short amount of time, we have become a family of about 1,000 and also seen rapid growth in all areas. We were also named one of the best places to work at by Ad Age 4 years in a row. So that's amazing. And I feel like I have to call it out since 2019. And also we have tons of different honorable mentions in the large publications as well. We work with our clients to basically plan and strategize their marketing campaigns and also look at what marketing channels will drive the best and most efficient return. So essentially working with everything digital, everything you see online, that's what we do. I specifically work in the programmatic division, and we'll be talking about some of the best practices from more of an activation standpoint that I've seen succeed with some of our clients, and also we've seen succeed cross-channel. So you'll see how these affect, different customer touch points and how beauty brands can stand out and differentiate themselves. So first up, building presence online. A lot of brands sometimes put all their budget into one channel and then struggle to expand their reach across the digital ecosystem. So with the shift from print to digital in the last couple of years, we should ask questions like, how does this shift affect storytelling? How does it affect the way we build creatives? Where is our audience actually consuming content? How do we know this is indeed our target audience? So there's no right or wrong answer to this, but typically ensuring if your brand is present on some of the major publications, this will definitely guarantee that your brand is going to be top of mind of that core beauty consumer that we're trying to reach. Other channels like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, where beauty brands and influencers are able to post content and build brand awareness and also consideration is a huge win for us, for the brand. Being present in all these platforms also enables the brands to really have that impact on different customer touch points wherever they are in their journey. So if they're watching YouTube, you're going to be there, you're going to be present there. If they're reading an article on Vogue, for example, you're going to be present there. If you're watching an ad on like Hulu, if you're watching Hulu, you're present there because your ads are there. So basically touching these customers everywhere they go. Now, how can a brand stand out from all the standard creative that's out in the wild that is being served? So leveraging dynamic creative for enhanced personalization is one way for brands to stand out and increase their return on investment. Now, there are different kinds of dynamic creative. It can be feed-based, where we apply certain triggers and rules. And for example, the consumer may be shown the last 3 products they viewed on the brand site, or they add it to cart. It can be really anything that we choose, how we want to target these audiences. This will increase basically the overall chances of conversion and also serve as a more of an engaging and personalized unit for that consumer who's actually seeing this. Next, it can be behavioral or contextual, where we're trying to show a list of face or eye products at random to audiences who have shown the most interest in these product categories, be it through either search or reading relevant content on editorial sites. Next, which I think is an interesting one, and I think that's going to be the future, once we figure out technology, is the dynamic creative optimization with AI. That's an interesting one because it's where DCO uses an algorithm to select specific creative elements on the fly based on the best combination of creative to put in front of a viewer. So it takes different types of dynamic creative campaigns and automatically fuses them together. These elements can be a mix of demographic data, geo-targeting, or even contextual data, but definitely not limited to these, of course. There are different trials and errors and mixes that we can do. So if you're not utilizing dynamic creative on your brands right now, it's definitely worth getting started and definitely test it out to build a more personalized experience for our target audience and also to see the ROI increase. Just instead of running a typical unit, let's do dynamic creative. Next up, on the same creative lens, I wanted to talk about how the different units have driven success for so many of the beauty brands, like you'll see here. Having a strong storytelling aspect through video assets on YouTube, leveraging their video ad sequencing format has seen some strong successes. In particular, you're now basically forcing your target audience on this journey where you're able to drive them from the awareness stage by showing them branded content, really strong branded content, and then down to the consideration stage by showing them the more of that how-to tutorial content, and then finally enticing them to purchase your products by having a specific call to action or prompt in your videos. So brands are also able to build that emotional connect with consumers or viewers through this kind of strategy. Another creative enhancement that's becoming really popular is the introduction of augmented reality. With our current situation and a lot of shoppers unable to go to the store, having an AR functionality within your brand site or on your creative really enhances that experience where consumers are able to test products out virtually and place an order right there. It's just, just ease of ordering online. A lot of brands started adopting this in the last 2 years, given our current nature. Some have virtual assistants on their brand site to guide consumers through their foundation shade or lipstick colors, which one will look good on them. And some also execute ads with AR capabilities on different channels like YouTube, Snapchat, and Instagram, as you can see on the screenshots that I have on the right. So through these two ways, I feel like brands are able to show that they're able to adapt to the current situation and are very flexible. It shows that you're flexible in a way, making you stand out from your competitors. And lastly, I want to talk about the sampling strategy. So how can having a sampling strategy combat the already famous subscription services out there? So having a sampling strategy will really help the brand to cross or upsell their products and entice your current customers to stay loyal while garnering that new potential consumer. More consumers are turning to subscription boxes these days. It's just easy. Like I said, audiences, consumers, they want the easiness. And there could be multiple reasons for this. First one could be they want a more personalized experience. They don't want to buy a full-size product, and they want to actually try out this product first before they fully commit to a brand. Or they're just in market to try on new brands. They don't know what they want, so they're just out there looking for something. This is our chance to convert these potential consumers. So being able to target consumers who are getting subscription boxes and also reaching them through email marketing could be one way to convert these group of audiences. If you know that your product is going to be in one of these subscription boxes, it's good to actually reach out to them, and just like have that be top of mind, of these consumers. Now, finally, to summarize all of the different strategies that I talked about through which our brands are really able to stand out and how they have a positive impact or just an impact on the different customer touch points. First up, asking the right questions to build presence online. When you're working on your next plan, ask yourself these questions that will help you get the right reach mix across the channels. Next, this creative. Creative does play a really huge role in how your consumers perceive the brand and the effect it can have on the target audience. And lastly, thinking about building up that sampling strategy and how the brand can really tap into the subscription boxes audiences and convert them into your own consumers, and also keep your existing consumers very loyal. And with that, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or just ask questions here as well. I'm available. I'll hand it back to Rachel, and I hope you have taken one or two of these nuggets to apply to your brands. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Shweta. Next, I'd like to welcome Michelle Cryer, who is Director of Account Management at Refersion. Take it away, Michelle.
I guess it helps if I unmute myself. Sorry about that. My name is Michelle Creer. I'm the Director of Account Management here at Refersion. I have been here for about 2 years. I have over 13 years of experience working directly with beauty brands, and I am happy to support some of the top beauty brands here at Refersion, which we'll go into in some of the later slides. So Refersion is a performance marketing platform that enables merchants and their brand the opportunity to run an affiliate marketing program. There we go. So it's really important to find the affiliates who complement your brand most. We segment them out by social media influencers, publishers, brand ambassadors, and coupon affiliates. So the next step is to look at your affiliates that are in your bucket and start to strategize on the tactics that's going to work best with engaging with them and getting them to really represent your brand in a very strategic way. So I always say to advocate making a community for your affiliates, making them feel like they're an extension of your brand is really important. A lot of our beauty brands do this through social media. So having a Facebook group where they can interact directly with other affiliates to understand exactly what tactics they're using and what makes them successful, offering them free products so they feel like they're really understanding your brand. They're a part of your product and your brand and your decisions that you're making, going and looking at your product changes, and if you're making any changes and including them in that decision making is super helpful. Offering unique discount codes, motivating them, allows your brand to track the performance and see what's successful. So 1 month you might run a specific discount code and then track the data and performance and analyze that going forward. We also love to have our merchants set up a leaderboard and incentivize their affiliates to drive revenue, looking at that top competition and then pushing their affiliates to be more successful. here are some of the top beauty brands that we work with. So Dermalogica, sorry, my screen is covering my slide. One Blade, Dr. Dennis Gross, it's a 10, and we work with a ton more. If you have any specific questions, you can directly message that in our chat. I'll also drop in my email address for any connections later on, but thank you so much for having us. It's been really interesting listening to everybody present. All right, I'm passing it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Next, we'll welcome Chris Lavar, Senior Technology Partner Manager at Gorgias.
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry about that. Can everyone see my screen? Sorry, didn't realize I was muted.
You're good, Chris.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, first of all, thanks so much for Okendo for putting on a great event. We really appreciate these opportunities, and I personally love joining these as a speaker because I get to learn so much, which I have today. So kudos to all the other presenters for putting on a really insightful webinar, and hopefully I'll continue that trend today. So yeah, I'll quickly introduce myself. So I'm with Gorgias, which is a customer support and engagement platform built entirely from the ground up as a Shopify app. We do work with other e-com platforms now, but still very much heavily focused on Shopify. And really, we're trying to make it easy for you to deliver exceptional customer experiences through the whole life cycle. So from first point of contact and the awareness side of things, maybe it was the social media ad, all the way to the point where you're getting support for purchase that you've already made, right? We're trying to make it easy for you to connect with consumers through the end-to-end life cycle. In terms of some of the points I'm going to talk about today, I could have talked more about reviews and how that factors in with Gorgias, but obviously Okendo already did that. We have great integration, say, with Attentive on the SMS side of things, but I know Greg already covered that. So I thought I'd pivot into 3 other talking points, which you can see here today. So really talking about how modern consumers really treat social media like a true customer experience channel, whereas before 10, 15 years ago, it was phone and by a 1-800 number and maybe a contact us page on a website. That was really the mechanism for getting support. Things have changed. We've gone full omni-channel, so brands really need to start thinking about what type of support interactions might be disguised in their social media engagement. And by not responding, consumers are actually treating that as you not responding and you not really caring about them. So I'll be talking about how we think about that. I'll also talk about how there's a great pre-sale opportunity when you have website visitors by using a simple live chat function, whether it's Gorgias or any other tool. There's an easy opportunity there to convert more website visitors through the funnel. And then finally, a big theme that we're seeing in customer experience across all industries, certainly in e-com, is giving power to the consumers themselves. So meaning a lot of times they don't want to talk to a live agent. They don't want to call somebody. They don't want to talk to a bot either. They actually just want the ability to get answers themselves. So we've listened to that at Gorgias, and so I'll show you some of the progress we've made in giving giving consumers themselves the ability to just get information and access on their own. Cool. So quick intro to Gorgias. I've already kind of gave you the spiel on who we are. We do work with over 8,000 primarily D2C brands, again in the Shopify Plus space. And I have some of the notable beauty brands that we do work with, such as Supergoop, 3 Ships Beauty, and Mented Cosmetics. And so, beauty is a great vertical. Okendo mentioned that it's their top vertical. It's similar for us because if you think of what type of verticals are going to manifest in a high customer support volume, it's really anything where maybe there's a complex use case. So cosmetics, people want to really understand how to use those products, and so it's not uncommon for customers to reach out to brands to better understand their products. Yeah, so that's a really top vertical for us as well. In terms of the challenges that we aim to solve, so I'll talk about this and then I'll get into those 3 main talking points. Really, these are the things that we're obsessed with now at Gorgias. If we think about the end consumer, which we all are here attending this webinar. So when you're trying to get support from a brand for something, maybe your product hasn't delivered on time, or you have no idea where it is, or maybe a product didn't, a clothing article didn't fit properly, you have some questions, you have anxiety building. And what a lot of brands are struggling with, which is the reality, is that it's taking them a long time to actually respond at first, which is first contact time, and then ultimately solve the issue of a given customer support ticket, which is resolution time. So these averages are actually growing, not decreasing across e-commerce, which is something that we're trying to solve. Another key challenge that we're trying to mitigate is things feeling impersonal. You know, a lot of speakers today talked about the authenticity and trying to build this like this engagement and a community with your customer base. Well, it's hard to do that if you don't actually deliver personalized experiences across the entire life cycle, pre and post purchase. And so, you know, not having consumers say things like, I feel like another ticket number, right? And actually leveraging the data that you all should have on your customers to really give them a personalized experience. And so that means not just relying on, you know, zero party, first party data that we have on the customer support side of things, but also injecting in important third party data from tools like Okendo, from tools like Attentive, for instance, to really enrich the customer profile, which makes it easy for agents to deliver that experience. And then that's very much related to nobody's listening. So for instance, it's not uncommon for Sally on a Monday to reach out via maybe phone for support and then send an email on a Tuesday and then comment on social media on a Friday. A good brand will be able to recognize that Sally's the same person who just communicated across 3 different channels and not have to pretend, you know, essentially be ignorant to that fact and ask Sally for the same question. So that goes back to the whole omni-channel, consolidating communication channels. In terms of where we stand today, if we think about the gold standard from a customer experience standpoint, you know, you can say what you want about Amazon, but the support that they offer is exceptional. And really that's the gold standard that everyone in e-com, certainly in the Shopify space, is trying to get to. Within our own customer base, which is predominantly Shopify, the average support performance that our Shopify merchants are delivering is around 2.6 out of 5, which we're actually really proud of because that's up from 2.1 from the previous year. But again, we have a lot of room to get to be delivering that level 5 support performance. In terms of what a level 5 support performance looks like, and this is based on both industry benchmarking insights and also zero-party data from our own customer base. If we just zoom in on what level 5 support looks like, and this could be a good barometer for brands with us today, is, you know, on their first response and resolution time, you know, they need to be as low as possible. So this means introducing automation as much as you can, right? Not relying on manual labor. That's fine as you start out, but as you start to scale, you need to start introducing automation features to really wipe away a heavy bulk of your customer support volume, and the best brands are able to do that at scale. You need to start unlocking revenue from support, right? You know, the old adage is, you know, customer support is a cost center, it's a sinkhole. Well, that used to be true, but it's not anymore. And that's because, you know, just as, you know, we're able to make post-purchase engagement really easy, we're also making pre-purchase engagement really easy in the same platform. So, you know, being able to drive revenue from support is a must if you're going to stay competitive in a crowded market. In terms of impact drivers, the exceptional brands on the CX side of things are automating a heavy percentage. So above 20% of your entire ticket volume should be automated. You should be interacting with customers over 6 to 8 different channels, which could be SMS, could be email, could be live chat, it could be Facebook, could be Instagram. So that's what the best brands are doing. And then the integration piece is key. So, you know, a lot of brands are using anywhere between 5 to 15 different apps as part of their tech stack. Well, as best as you can, if it makes sense, they should be integrated and talking to one another. So data and actions in one platform like Okendo is going to be reflected inside of Gorgias, for instance. And that gives a support agent a holistic 360 view of a customer, which they can leverage to, again, deliver better personalization, but ultimately answer questions in a faster manner. So that's what exceptional looks like. And that's really what we're aiming to make easier to achieve for our brands. So point number 1, and I'll speed up here because I know I'm probably behind, is, you know, around that social media. Customers and consumers treat social media like a normal support channel. So we have some cool data here that we've pulled from the last 3 months. On the left, it's how do consumers actually interact with brands? And this is, again, coming from Gorgias customer support data. And on the right, we have what's the intent of that first message, right? And that's based on machine learning. So interesting on the interaction side of things, you know, predominantly still people are getting support from email. That's not necessarily a surprise. Chat is growing. It's currently at 10%. And although SMS and social is the lowest at 8.3%, this is actually the fastest growing category, right? So it validates what Greg at Attentive was mentioning earlier in terms of SMS being a more popular use case for communication, and as is social media. And so that's what I'm highlighting here. And so this view that I'm showing you here is what Gorgias looks like in terms of the different ticket breaks down. And what I like about this is how subtle it makes the different channels, right? Like 5 years ago, if you to see this, you'd think it's revolutionary. And what it's showing you is different tickets, so different support conversations based on different agents, but ultimately it's the channel, right? Look at the channels that are coming in: email, Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Twitter, live chat, right? SMS you could throw in there. So it's becoming normal for customers to interact with brands through these different channels. So you need to treat it like that. You can't just ignore your social media engagement and pat yourself on the back and say, look, our marketing team is doing a great job driving engagement, but at what, are you missing out on invaluable engagement in there, both pre-purchase and post-purchase? So that's the key takeaway there. With Gorgias, and I won't dwell on this, but you can easily leverage automation. So if people are saying positive or negative things, you're tagging those tickets. So you can proactively reach out and say, hey, look, if you're saying really nice things, that's great. We'll amplify that by giving you a discount code, and you can squash any negative comments like you would with reviews in the same fashion. So this is an easy way to keep up with a high engagement for those brands who have, say, 1 million+ followers. Second tip, and I'll really speed up here, is pre-sale, engaging pre-sale with some proactive campaigns. So if you look at this intense breakdown chart again, 1/3 of the first message are actually based on pre-sales, right? So this is no longer just a purely post-purchase conversation. And so an easy way that OG Luxury Organics beauty brand of ours does this really well is, look, they have a lot of products. For some people, purchasing these products can be pretty overwhelming. And so on a product page, on a PDP, right below that, you can have a little chat bubble. It says, hey, need help choosing the perfect lip tint shade, right? And it's like, sure I do, you bet. And you can see an example of this in practice. This is a real conversation from Christmas. Someone's messaging in, they say they're a senior, they have some issues picking the right color. And then someone on the other side, on the brand side, reached out and recommended a specific one. And then within 3 minutes later, they purchased over $200 worth of products, right? So like by proactively, it's like objection busting statements almost. It's like by putting something in front of them to prompt them to engage with you is going to help you convert. And so that's an easy thing you can do. And then the final thing is giving power to the customers. This is a big trend this year in CX. And so for instance, if I finish up one more time on this chart, yes, 1/3 of intents for the first message is pre-sales, but the rest of it is around post-purchase, for instance, shipping status, refunds, returns, cancellations, etc. It's extremely exhausting and time consuming and costly from a retention and customer satisfaction standpoint for brands to handle that volume alone manually. And so one thing that we've done is we've shipped this self-serve widget essentially that lives on top of your website subtly. And I'll show you an example of how Supergoop does it. So now as a consumer, I can go on a website, I can click on this little help center. I can take any of the following actions around tracking, returning, canceling, or reporting an issue with an order. If I put in my order ID, for instance, I can see something like this, which is giving me very granular information. So it's quelling any anxiety I might have. And then if I have a question around FAQ, say I want to better understand how to make a purchase, could be for cosmetics, could be for a luxury mattress. Any help center that you might have set up would be linked to this self-serve as well. So you can, again, you're removing any friction points and giving the power back to the customer. And here's how Supergoop does it, right? So it's typically minimized, but if you expand it, you'll see this front and center. You can put this on any page. Cool. I know I blasted through that just to make sure that we kept on time, but yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Happy to chat anytime. You can reach me at chris@gorgias.com, and just want to thank the organizers again for hosting a great event.
So thank you so much, Chris. And last but not least, we have Nadav Berger, VP of Marketing at Rise.ai. Nadav, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rachel, and also special thanks for Chris for leaving me just enough time. So hello, everyone. As Rachel said, my name is Nadav, the VP Marketing at Rise.ai, and let's get to speak just a bit about our company, about Rise. So our mission is to help brands build really meaningful and profitable relationships with customers. We do it through tools of launching loyalty programs, gift cards, and adopting store credit for refunds, returns processes, as well as referrals. Really a broad offering in order to build unique and advanced customer engagement. And beauty brands is obviously a great example for brand that needs strong customer engagement, and we really see the top notch of beauty brands adopting our tool and using the product to really encourage long-lasting behaviors and engagement. So a bit about beauty industry. Just wanted to give a little introduction to the world of loyalty and where it really interact. So beauty brands tend to have high customer lifetime value, comparing to other industry, high repeat purchase rate, and people that start buying from a certain beauty brand keep buying and using the same product. And not only that, it's something that can easily be referred or recommended from one brand to another. If I got a super cool sunscreen and it got me 10 just as I wanted, I will obviously share that experience with my friends, and people really tend to talk about those experiences and share it. So beauty has good audience and good customer loyalty. Good example for that is that on the skincare, in the skincare industry specifically, 53% of women actually use the same brand over time. So there's like, you found something that you like, you keep yourself loyal to. So if we're already speaking on an industry with great loyalty, why loyalty products are so important. So there are a lot of things that the loyalty program can help, but we really try to find the main ones and things that we really think that can be on point. First of all, you want to keep innovating in terms of your product offering. So a loyalty program is something that can be great for new product discovery. For example, and in two different shapes. So first of all, you can offer rewards for buying certain products. So if you buy from this collection, you'll be rewarded for it. And on the other end, providing rewards that can only be used against certain products, can be only redeemed for certain products. So you can really adopt the behavior and adopt new product that you launch to your brand. The second thing is people buy from brand, they love it, but obviously there's a constant strive to decrease the time between purchases and make purchase more frequent. So offering rewards at the right time, and it's something that can really help. You know, if people tend to buy from you every 2 months, reducing it to numbers like 45 days by offering expiration dates for reward or timing or send time messages is something that can really help with reducing time between purchases. And because there's a lot of competition, there's big importance in keeping your program innovated with different offering, and I'll write that on this slide. So there are a lot of different things that you can do with loyalty. You can go with a classic rewards program, you can do subscription, you can do a paid membership plan. There are a lot of different things that you can do really to encourage loyalty and encourage repeat purchases. And in a very crowded and competitive landscape, adopting new tools is something that you have to do all the time. And I think that's where we come in, where we can run, when we can offer membership program where you can change and give rewards for certain products or give rewards for certain customer behavior, which is the second point that's really important. Using segmentation based on the stage of the customer in its cycle. For example, if you want to, we know that loyalty is super important. So we want to recognize first purchases as something that can really increase. If you reward for first purchase, you can really get this customer to be part of your cycle and keep using your product. So segmenting first purchases or customers that bought a lot of times is something that can really be very important and significant. And also using your brand to make it shine and to make more out of your outstanding customers. Few examples that we wanted to share with Cosas that's a really unique offering using our product. So Cosas has a try at home program where you can offer once you can buy things that you try only the first time and get credit that's equivalent to the value that you are sending out. So you buy samples, you get site credit for every $1 that you spend, and you can test it at home, and you have credit that you can then use on another time at the next purchase. So before getting with any spending a lot of money on buying a full catalog, you can really try things at home and get credit that ensure that you'll keep yourself in the store cycle. We really got to see amazing results from the program. Over $100 of rewards were issued. The redemption rate was insane, almost 50%. And the upsell on the credit is also big. So you really get those customers to being customers with very high potential and correlation for lifetime value. I think that's something really unique and an innovative way to think about your loyalty program. And that's something that we really like to see. And we feel like our tool, like Rise tool, is a great fit for that. Another very good example for a bit of a different program, more in the gift card world, is Fenty. So Fenty re-platformed from their homegrown platform to Shopify and tried to really launch a robust gift card program. And not only launching a robust gift card program, they also had a lot of data and a lot of customer information that set out there, and they needed to migrate everything properly. So that's where we really came in hand, and through and under tight deadlines and timeframes, we're really able to launch something beautiful together and get them to see great results in the holiday season with over with $167,000 of gift cards sold, and way above average redemption rates that we see already, almost 57%. And not only that, we really got to see that people bought way more than the gift card they received, more than 2 times. So adopting gift card consumption can be also very beneficial when we're talking beauty brands. But also very interesting stat about gift card is that during 2021, gift card upsell increased over 30%, meaning that when customers redeemed a gift card, the additional value that they added with credit card or with their payment method really helped, really increased this year. And I think that's, if you're a beauty brand and you're out there adopting gift cards specifically around things like Valentine's Day, which is coming really soon, or any other holiday, something that can really increase brand discovery and help customers that love the product buy gift card to the loved ones and help them adopt the product as well. So summarizing on the loyalty program and gift card, the time is now. Valentine's, as I said, is coming in 20 days, and it's a great time to start looking into those directions. And we would like to make it easy for you. It's 20 days, so I think you'll have all those 20 days for free with a 3 days free trial. You can reach out to me. I think also we'll share the promotion with you guys. And thank you all.
Thanks, Nadav. Now that does conclude the webinar for today. Thank you for joining us. You will be receiving a video of recording of that webinar within the next 24 hours. And I would also like to take the time to thank our speakers today for sharing their insights. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you soon.